Hello there, I am Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars, and we are back to talk about the lunations. So talk about the new moons and full moons and what kind of energy is available for us to work with, right? So this whole idea of co-creation and a self-cultivation as well, so we can manifest the life that we want to live. So today we'll be talking about the coming new moon. So there is a new moon coming on the 21st of October, 2025. And the degree of this new moon is 28 Libra. So 28 degrees Libra new moon. And as usual, we're going to look at the main aspects. What's this new moon doing? What else is happening in the chart of the new moon as well? And the Sabian symbols, we usually start with the Sabian symbols. So let's have a look at that, see what that imagery can be telling us about this new lunar cycle. And also the tarot cards. So what tarot cards are associated with 28 degrees Libra? So the first thing, obviously, to mention is another chance, another cycle is just beginning. So the new moon is definitely bringing this new energy, this new opportunity, and in particular, an opportunity to plant seeds, right? To set intentions, to imagine, to create a vision board of what you want to be bringing into your life. We came out of a full moon in Aries. It was a lot about reconnecting with our individuality, healing our individuality as well, embracing the idea of creating our own destiny. And with the new moon in Libra, what's happening here as well as the following cycle is that we have an opportunity here for new beginnings around relationships, around sharing, around exchanges, around equality as well. So relationships that can be a little bit more equal. The give and take can be a little bit more equal. Also, Libra will bring a flavor connected to aesthetic and beauty. And during this cycle, we can definitely beautify our lives a little bit more. It's a Venus-ruled new moon. And Venus, during this new moon, Venus will be in Libra as well. So Venus will stand tall, very powerful in Libra. And we can definitely tap into the archetype, the feminine archetype here of Venus during this new lunar cycle. So let's have a look at the Sabian symbol. And the Sabian symbol for 28 degrees Libra is mankind's vast and enduring effort to reach for knowledge transferable from generation to generation. So mankind's vast and enduring effort to reach for knowledge transferable from generation to generation. So there's obviously something about knowledge here that's really important, but also the transferable from generation to generation. I think there is definitely that bit of the Sabian symbol that really catches my attention. There's something about the evolution of wisdom that is connected with the 28th degree of Libra here. And with this new moon as well, something about our ancestors that can also be connected here. And obviously, October is Halloween month, is when the veil is a little bit thinner, and there is something about, in some cultures, obviously Mexican culture comes to mind, of being in touch with our ancestors. And I think this new moon really reflects that. Maybe, our connection to our values, which is one of the deep meanings of Venus, is also something that we can tap into in connection to our ancestors, what they've done, who they were, what are we passing on, what healings are we doing as well for the previous generations, etc., or even for the coming generations. So for some of you, that have children or that are planning to have children, etc. So really something about that process that's really reflected here in this new moon. Now, in terms of aspects, there are a few very rich aspects here, and those aspects are kind of similar to what Mercury in Scorpio was doing during the full moon. So if you remember, if you heard that note, so the new moon is forming a yod. The new moon is in fact the finger of God here. And the other ends are Saturn and Neptune on one end, and the other end is Uranus in Gemini. So this new moon seems to be very fated because it's the finger of God here in the yod. And Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, and Pluto, they're talking about a lot of collective things, a lot of collective movements and evolution. And the new moon being the closest, in terms of distance, astrologically speaking, they're talking about something a lot more personal here. And as a new moon is really our connection to collective changes, what our role can be, what our contributions can be to the changes. That real famous phrase of be the change you want to see in the world. I think that really is relevant with this new moon here, forming that yod, and also forming a square to Pluto. So Pluto is at 1 degree Aquarius, and the new moon at 28 Libra. So there is like a 2-degree separation here, but it's very close. This is square to Pluto. So a lot of detoxing can happen this month with this new lunar cycle. A lot of detoxing, a lot of letting go, a lot of patterns here that we can get in touch with, and that can have an impact in the collective as well. Now, in terms of the other aspects, I think they really reinforce what we're talking about here. We have a Mercury-Mars conjunction. So Mercury and Mars will be very, very close in the sky when this new moon happens at 20 degrees Scorpio. So again, we continue on that exploration, the depths, going deeper, looking deeper. This new moon is a couple of days before Scorpio season starts. And Scorpio season is really going to be an invitation to look deeper, to go deeper, to go into that, ancestral line, the ancestral exploration here of what the connections are, what the gifts are we bringing forward, but also what are we ready to let go of? What can we leave behind here, right? What curse can we break free from? And the Mars Mercury are very powerful here, pointing it out, bringing a lot of potential to our minds as well, to really, really penetrate those truths, right? And that Mercury-Mars is also forming a grand trine with Jupiter and Saturn. So there is a lot of potential for healing for this new lunar cycle. A lot of potential for embracing, healing, transforming as well. Remember, Scorpio has a lot to do with transmutation, transforming that energy. And finally, when it comes to the tarot cards that we can bring in, or we can bring out of the deck to use during this new moon, the major arcana card connected to Libra is the Justice card. So the imagery of the Justice here can be wonderful for balance, for equality, for fairness, etc. The court cards is the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is a wonderful, more personal imagery here that we can use to dialogue with the energy here, to really embrace, to really channel this energy of the new moon in Libra. And the minor arcana card connected with the final decan of Libra is the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords which is also Jupiter in Libra, and is also a card here for this lunar cycle. And interestingly, I think the Four of Swords really invites us to go inwards, isn't it? It's a card of meditation, it's a card of rest, of really going inwards. And I think something about that ancestral wisdom that needs to be accessed by going inwards will be very important during this lunar cycle. So that's it. I hope this has been helpful and that you have a wonderful, healing, beautiful new lunar cycle. And I'll be speaking to you all soon. So take care. Bye-bye now.